welcome today to this week of me talking about the grant project that I've been working on and the pieces that I've been working on for that grant project. The last few days I've covered kind of the resourcing of wool locally, and then yesterday I covered the natural dyeing material that I gathered within Cattaraugus County, New York to make natural dyes. And today I'm covering the different areas that I depicted, which are also local, using local fibers. So I'm going to talk about which local dyeing materials I used and how I put together this piece. So this piece is my winter landscape. It is done completely with wool and a little bit of angora. And it is done, it depicts a local ski mountain called Holiday Valley. And I believe this run is a ballet. It's in the Tannenbaum area, which is one of my favorite areas over at the mountain. And it was really one of the perks to moving to this area. We really like skiing as a family, and so it gave us the opportunity to get out and enjoy the slopes. Oh, actually, no, this is a Crystal Run. I'll get back to that. The top. So, yeah, that's why I chose it. It also is pretty graphic and has a lot less color and more kind of those stark contrasts between black and white and grays. And the natural dyes kind of help with that. So I didn't need to have bright, vivid color for this one. So I could kind of emphasize the natural colors of the wool, but also the natural dye colors, and bring those in. So let me tell you which natural dyes I used in this particular piece. I have my list back here. So starting here, I used the nettle. I used avocado, which I got at the local grocery store. Nettles modified with iron and over-dyed on the Shetland, which, as I said yesterday and the day before, Shetland, it has a little bit of a mix to it. Staghorn sumac, last one over here, staghorn sumac on the Shetland. This is the ink cap, which is again is the mushrooms. Staghorn sumac came out as a dark brown, and this is the winter. This is the winter version of that. This is copper and iron. This one's apple leaves and cherry leaves, modified with iron. And then this is apple leaves and cherry leaves, second, and then Queen Anne's lace as a second, and then modified with iron. And I talked about what a second means as a dye bath. So one that I didn't mention yesterday that I did try was red cabbage. You know, so many times you cut up a red cabbage and it stains everything. But a stain is very different from a dye. A stain does not last. So I did take some wool and try dyeing it with red cabbage, quite a bit of red cabbage. But it didn't really give me much. It gave me this off-white. I put this here as kind of a color similar to what it would have been. But the tips were like just a touch of purple on them. And I kind of stuck it to the side and thought this was not successful, and maybe I'll over dye on it, but it didn't really do much. But when I started working on this piece, I found I needed a really subtle, dirty white. And I actually used all of it. All of the red cabbage was used on these pieces. And then the last one I have is geranium and rose petals. And that one's right here. And obviously the browns went into the trees and the grays went into the snow and the shadows. And then the darks. So with this piece, I used a lot of the natural. I'm going to push these to the side or just over a little bit. So with this piece, I use a lot of the natural color that comes from the various wool breeds that I used. So as I showed you before, it doesn't show up very well in here, but let me try over here. So this is some of that wool from the merino from Fox and Hound Merino Wool Farm in Randolph, and and that has dark. Let me come around. It has like a dark color, but it also has gray variations, and then these light tips where it lightened by the sun. So this gave me a full range, and if you can zoom in, I don't know if you can, but I don't want to move it. The full range is in each one of these trunks. So you get to see that there. Here's more of that. This is more like a tunis. I didn't get tunis, but this is what a tunis would look like. It's very light in color, and that also helped me get my highlights in there. And this, I think, was from the black. So that one was helpful. And then tan on hand, that was alpaca. And so I used some of that. And here's some. This is actually all the black in here. None of it's dyed. I got it from this Rambouillet fleece that I have. Really, really nice. Super dark black. And then a lot of the grays that weren't in the natural dyes were part of this, of our Angora. That was part of our own farm. Blues some were done with indigo. The piece that it's felted on, the background was dyed with indigo. And yeah, the green and black is actually, I took a fleece like this that had the dark color and I over dyed it with those synthetic about the other day. And that's kind of how I got those variations of green and black. And you know what? I think I don't do this, but I'm gonna take this off and see if I can come in a little closer so that you can check out some of the detail in that and see where those different colors are. Okay, I'm keeping it short today. So if you have any questions on this, you can email me. Oh, here's what I wanted to talk about. So I actually posted this on a site, on my site, and then on a textile art site. And yeah, it was very popular. And I have another one that is not of this scene because I don't repeat. I do variations. So I have another one that I did of Holiday Valley up in the trees, and it sold. So I wanted to make sure I had. I want to make sure that's steady. I want to make sure I had enough to show for next year, because the one that sold is going to be sent out before the end of this year. So I wanted to make sure I had at least four of each season. And like I said before, I'll be doing more of the county. So this one's the smaller one, and I have a larger one that actually sold. But yeah, pretty much the same on both of those that I used for the different colors. And yeah, I'm getting low on grays for doing these big ones. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll try and get back to you. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Let's see, winter, spring.